No, I'm recording now.
No.
Yep.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, Matt. Like, who wins? Me.
You don't pitch it. You don't listen to the top. The camera's right there.
4. It's actually not camera, it's just a recorder.
Shut up. You're recording the entire class. Hi, Dwayne.
Who wins now?
Well, probably you because you have a chair. I just have sunglasses.
Yep.
That's still an equal match. True. Like, I can pick up that desk.
Who wins now?
That's not a sharp pencil. Yeah. It's not very sharp. I've seen sharp. It's kind of useless unless you're really bashing my head in something. What?
Got it.
You never know. Bend over a little. Say something funny.
Something funny. Milo Miller. Who's Milo Miller?
Say something funny. You're recording the whole class?
Children.
Wait. Is it like time lapse or something, or you just?
Why would I time lapse audio?
Oh, it's audio. I thought you were like.
Yeah, I'll time lapse the audio and I'll just be like.
It'll just sound like one of those sorting algorithm things.
You don't know what it is. You don't even know.
You don't even know what you're talking about. I love the sorting. What happened there?
He dropped it like this. Can we not?
Now you just have to tell. Will, now you just have to hook up a little end mic to everybody in the room, including them.
That would be very fun.
I agree with that.
But I don't think you're gonna have that many mics going to the same receiver.
You could try.
It's usually like a couple. What? What did he say?
He told me from my phone. Yeah. Reese. My recording one. Are you gonna rename it?
Am I gonna what?
Rename it, the recording.
Sure.
Is this a thing you're gonna do every day, or is this?
Yes.
Can you name it Rod Wave?
No, I'm gonna name it the philosophy.
Rod Wave.
The philosophy of Rod Wave.
Of who?
Rod Wave.
Who is that?
The rapper. You know the.
Heart been broke so many times. I don't know what to believe.
I don't know. It's the guy he played at the beginning of class yesterday.
Have we not already seen this?
It was the same guy, but it's a different topic.
Oh, culture. No.
I've been broken.
I know you are, but you signed up for philosophy. That wasn't my fault.
We should eat burritos.
It's actually Kerpal's fault that I'm in here.
What?
It's actually your fault I'm in here.
Do you regret what?
It is your fault I'm in here.
Well, we're going to go with the mass psychosis
Do you regret it?
today. See if this makes any sense.
See?
I haven't had
That wasn't on the recording.
What's the favorite class you've ever had in
idea
whole
was
school?
even too far-fetched for him, so that was yesterday.
Wellness?
That
Your
was
favorite class?
No, I'm just naming possibilities. Wellness?
Wellness was a
My
good
favorite class.
Stats?
Stat. Okay.
Hey, Isaac.
Philosophy.
German.
What is he ranking?
What are you doing?
I think he's just listing classes that he really.
German 1 was, those are probably top 4.
What are you doing in English?
You could just finish it out with the top 5. Like freshman year band.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that.
Do I?
Coach Doug.
I'm a
What is the rule? You know what Socrates said?
A lot of stuff. Say a lot of stuff.
I'm talking like a hen.
Say a lot of stuff.
Do what?
Yes.
I know. She's not seeking.
What?
You're gonna ask him something, right?
Yeah, if I'm allowed to record it.
Even if you're allowed to, you're currently recording it. Yeah, I feel like you've passed the threshold. You've passed the point of asking.
Of Aztec?
So I changed the cartridge in my razor today, and I didn't realize how old my other one was. My face feels so clean.
You changed the what?
The cartridge in my razor today.
You missed a little.
I did.
Huh?
It was kind of in a hurry.
You missed
Philosophy.
an important part.
What?
Right.
Yes.
Oh, I did.
I'm gonna measure
I wasn't
velocity
aware.
today.
Is it noticeable?
Yes. To get a baseline.
We are.
Like if I was like right here, would you notice that I forgot to shave under my nose?
Come closer.
Matthew, how are you, buddy?
Go back a little.
I can see it.
Yeah?
Go back a little more.
Yeah, I saw it.
Nah, what?
I can see it.
Tomorrow we have off.
Can you?
Yeah,
Wait, like if I didn't point it out, would you have noticed it?
Probably not.
I did.
Because I'm looking at you from the side.
I mean, surely it's not that bad.
You gotta put this in your way.
Give me That's not. I don't even see it.
I'm gonna see what you think about this one today.
This video.
Yeah. We're under a mass psychosis.
I mean, yeah, probably.
Can you tell?
What?
I do not have a beard.
What?
I can't see it on Snapchat, but I think Snapchat has like like an automatic filter that they use to make it look better.
That contributes
No,
to
it
the
looks
mass
like he
psychosis.
shaved
That's true,
everything
it's
but
propaganda.
right here, like Salvador Ali, but under his nose.
It's not that bad.
Not as bad as Salvador Ali. You're right.
I can't even share the screen so it stays bad or turn the screen off so it stays bad.
I don't know if the app will close.
Is that just gonna go the whole time?
I don't think Dalton comprehends the term no phones in class.
I don't think Will comprehends the term.
Shut up.
He's gonna comprehend it when he gets his
He's
back
doing
home.
something that he could argue easily, though.
That's true. I feel like you could get in a debate about it.
You could get away with what you're doing, I think. Because you're a genius, bro.
No,
You're a genius.
not at all.
You're like a pickle in a blender. Just
Alright.
Look at that pickle Rick. That is the
Video
greatest
for
compliment
today.
I've ever seen.
The key word in this is manufacturing.
Oh my God, kill me.
And can sanity return to an insane world? Mandy, what's wrong? You've been sad all year long. This is what I look at every time I see you say this. And it makes me sad. Is there anything we can do to help?
Say stop playing this video.
Oh, I listened to Ex-Military last night. It's really, really good.
What? Me? Him? What are you looking at?
Hey, Reed.
Yeah, what's up?
It appears to me, I could be wrong, but what are we, this 4 weeks in?
I thought it was 5.
4 weeks?
I think it's 5.
I think it's 5.
Is it just me or are people starting to fall off the wagon?
Yeah, I think.
I don't think we were ever on the wagon.
You've been on the wagon.
I am on a
You're on
wagon.
the philosophical train.
Yeah, it's a train, not a wagon.
I don't even think there really was a wagon.
Who was on the wagon?
You're on a wagon.
There's a
and the
difference
train's
between
about to
never
hit
getting
it.
on the wagon and
And
falling off.
me, him, and
The
then
masses have never thirsted after truth. They turn aside from evidence that is not to their taste,
on the wagon.
preferring to deify error if error seduced them. Whoever can supply them with illusions is easily their master. Whoever attempts to destroy their illusions is always their victim. Diseases of the body can spread through a population and reach epidemic proportions, but so too can diseases of the mind. And of these epidemics of the latter variety, the mass psychosis is the most dangerous. During a mass psychosis, madness becomes the norm in a society, and delusionary beliefs spread like a contagion. But as delusions can take many forms, and as madness can manifest in countless ways, the specific manner in which a mass psychosis unfolds will differ based on the historical and cultural context of the infected society. In the past, mass psychoses have led to witch hunts, genocides, and even dancing manias. But in the modern era, it is the mass psychosis of totalitarianism that is the greatest threat.
You remind me when I was there.
Totalitarianism, writes Arthur Verse Lewis, is the modern phenomenon of total centralized state power, coupled with the obliteration of individual human rights. In the totalized state, there are those in power, and there are the objectified masses, the victims. In a totalitarian society, the population is divided into 2 groups, the rulers and the ruled, and both groups undergo a pathological transformation. The rulers are elevated to an almost godlike status, which is diametrically opposed to our nature as imperfect beings who are easily corrupted by power. The masses, on the other hand, are transformed into the dependent subjects of these pathological rulers and take on a...
Hey man, let me give you a chance to answer a question. Why am I showing you these videos on people in relation to governmental powers?
So happy. I'm gonna be the man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Will.
That's our unit. That's what we're
That's
talking
our unit! Woo! Society and politics. Good job, Will. I didn't think that was supposed to be a trick question, young lady. You seem very confused.
a psychologically regressed
That doesn't make
and
sense.
childlike status. Hannah Arendt, one of the 20th century's preeminent scholars of this form,
Straw through big hand, straw through big hand.
Fair.
Straw through big hand.
What is Isaac doing? Is he actually reading?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's got notes written.
called totalitarianism an attempted transformation of human nature itself. But this attempted transformation only turns sound minds into sick minds. For as the Dutch medical doctor who studied the mental effects of living under totalitarianism wrote, there is in fact much that is comparable between the strange reactions of the citizens of totalitarianism and their culture as a whole, on the one hand, and the reactions of the sick schizophrenic on the other. The social transformation that unfolds under totalitarianism is built upon and sustained by delusions. For only deluded men and women regress to the childlike status of obedient and submissive subjects, and hand over complete control of their lives to politicians and bureaucrats. Only a deluded ruling class will believe that they possess the knowledge, wisdom, and acumen to completely control society in a top-down manner. And only when under the spell of delusions would anyone believe that a society composed of power-hungry rulers on the one hand, and a psychologically regressed population on the other, will lead to anything other than mass suffering and social ruin. But what triggers the psychosis of totalitarianism? As was explored in the previous video of this series, the mass psychosis of totalitarianism begins in a society's ruling class. The individuals that make up this class, be it politicians, bureaucrats, or crony capitalists, are very prone to delusions that augment their power, and no delusion is more attractive to the power-hungry than the delusion that they can and should control and dominate a society. When a ruling elite becomes possessed by a political ideology of this sort, be it communism, fascism, or technocracy, the next step is to induce a population into accepting their rule by infecting them with the mass psychosis of totalitarianism. This psychosis has been induced many times throughout history, and as Mirlu explains, it is simply a question of reorganizing and manipulating collective feelings in the proper way. The general method by which the members of a ruling elite can accomplish this end is called menticide, with the etymology of this word being a killing of the mind, and as Mirlu further explains, menticide is an old crime against the human mind and spirit, but systematized anew. It is an organized system of psychological intervention and judicial perversion through which a ruling class can imprint their own opportunistic thoughts upon the minds of those they plan to use and destroy. Priming a population for the crime of menticide begins with the sowing of fear. For as was explored in the first video of this series, when an individual is flooded with negative emotions such as fear or anxiety, he or she is very susceptible to a descent into the delusions of madness. Threats, real, imagined, or fabricated, can be used to sow fear, but a particularly effective technique is to use waves of terror. Under this technique, the sowing of fear is staggered with periods of calm, but each of these periods of calm is followed by the manufacturing of an even more intense spell of fear. And on the process goes. For as Mirlu writes, each wave of terrorizing creates its effects more easily after a breathing spell than the one that preceded it, because people are still disturbed by their previous experience. Morality becomes lower and lower, and the psychological effects of each new propaganda campaign become stronger. It reaches a public already softened up.
What are people willing to do in order to achieve some level of security?
Give up liberties.
How do you know?
While fear primes the population for menticide, and to spread misinformation and to promote confusion with respect to the source of the threats and the nature of the crisis, helps to break down the minds of the masses. Government officials and their lackeys in the media can use contradictory reports, nonsensical information, and even blatant lies. As the more they confuse, the less capable will a population be to cope with the crisis and diminish their fear in a rational and adaptive manner. Confusion, in other words, heightens the susceptibility of a descent into the delusions of totalitarianism. Or as Miriam explains, logic can be met with logic, while illogic cannot. It confuses those who think straight. The big lie and monotonously repeated nonsense have more emotional appeal than logic and reason. While the people are still searching for a reasonable counter-argument to the first lie, the totalitarians can assault them with another. Never before in history have such effective means existed to manipulate a society into the psychosis of totalitarianism. Smartphones and social media, television and the internet, all in conjunction with algorithms that quickly censor the flow of unwanted information, allow those in power to easily assault the minds of the masses. What is more, the addictive nature of these technologies means that many people voluntarily subject themselves to the ruling elite's propaganda with a remarkable frequency. Modern technology, explains Mirlu, teaches man to take for granted the world he is looking at. He takes no time to retreat and reflect. Technology lures him on, dropping him into its wheels and movements. No rest, no meditation, no reflection, no conversation. The senses are continually overloaded with stimuli. Man doesn't learn to question his world anymore. The screen offers him answers, ready-made. But there is a further step the would-be totalitarian rulers can take to increase the chance of a totalitarian psychosis. And this is to isolate the victims and to disrupt normal social interactions. When alone and lacking normal interactions with friends, family, and co-workers, an individual becomes far more susceptible to delusions for several reasons. Firstly, they lose contact with the corrective force of the positive example. For not everyone is tricked by the machinations of the ruling elite, and the individuals who see through the propaganda can help free others from the menticidal assault. If, however, isolation is enforced, the power of these positive examples greatly diminishes. But another reason that isolation increases the efficacy of menticide is because, like many other species, human beings are more easily conditioned into new patterns of thought and behavior when isolated.
It's a funny dog on the screen.
With regards to the physiologist Ivan Pavlov's work on behavioral conditioning, Pavlov made another significant discovery. The conditioned reflex could be developed most easily in a quiet laboratory with a minimum of disturbing stimuli. Every trainer of animals knows this from his own experience. Isolation and the patient repetition of stimuli are required to tame wild animals. The totalitarians have followed this rule. They know that they can condition their political victims most quickly if they are kept in isolation. Alone, confused, and battered by waves of terror, a population under an attack of menticide descends into a hopeless and vulnerable state. The never-ending stream of propaganda turns minds once capable of rational thought into playhouses of irrational
Kerpal
forces.
eats rocks.
And with chaos swirling around them and within them, the masses crave a return to a more ordered world.
Now a statement
The
from
would-be
Kerpal.
totalitarians can now take the decisive step. They can offer a way out and a return to order in a world that seems to be moving rapidly in the opposite direction. But all this comes at a price. The masses must give up their freedom and cede control of all aspects of life
Eye-opening.
to the ruling elite. They must relinquish their capacity to be self-reliant individuals who are responsible for their own lives and become submissive and obedient subjects. The masses, in other words, must descend into the delusions of the totalitarian psychosis. Totalitarianism, writes Mirlu, is man's escape from the fearful realities of life into the virtual womb of the leaders. The individual's actions are directed from this womb, from the inner sanctum. Man need no longer assume responsibility for his own life. The order and logic of the prenatal world reign. There is peace and silence, the peace of utter submission.
What is enlightenment according to Immanuel Kant?
Escaping from self before maturity. And maturity is
He's going.
you can't think for yourself. So what is he saying right now?
All right, the ability to think for oneself. Does anybody see any, and I'm not saying this, I am saying it. Does anybody see any kind of parallel between what's going on now and what this is saying in terms of the coronavirus
Yes.
and masks and mandates?
Wait, no.
No?
No.
Okay.
No.
What's
Coronavirus doesn't exist.
Wearing a mask is not totalitarianism.
Didn't Italy get messed up really
Lucas,
bad?
I had.
It doesn't exist.
Lucas, I tested positive for it in January. I had. It's real.
It's a government issue. The government is faking it because
Every government, every single government in the world is fake except New Zealand.
But the order of a totalitarian world is a pathological order. By enforcing a strict conformity and requiring a blind obedience from the citizenry, totalitarianism rids the world of the spontaneity that produces many of life's joys and the creativity that drives society forward. The total control of this form of rule, no matter under what name it is branded, be it rule by scientists and doctors, politicians and bureaucrats, or a dictator, breeds stagnation, destruction, and death on a mass scale. And so perhaps the most important question facing the world is how can totalitarianism be prevented? And if a society has been induced into the early stages of this mass psychosis, can the effects be reversed? While one can never be sure of the prognosis of a collective madness, there are steps that can be taken to help effectuate a cure. This task, however, necessitates many different approaches from many different people. For just as the menticidal attack is multi-pronged, so too must be the counterattack. According to Carl Jung, for those of us who wish to help return sanity to an insane world, the first step is to bring order to our own minds and to live in a way that provides inspiration for others to follow. It is not for nothing that our age cries out for the Redeemer personality, for the one who can emancipate himself from the grip of the collective psychosis and to save at least his own soul, who lights a beacon of hope for others, proclaiming that here is at least one man who has succeeded in extricating himself from the fatal identity with the group psyche. But assuming one is living in a manner free of the grip of the psychosis, there are further steps that can be taken. Information that counters the propaganda should be spread as far and as wide as possible, for the truth is more powerful than the fiction and falsities peddled by the would-be totalitarian rulers, and so their success is in part contingent on their ability to censor the free flow of information. Another tactic is to use humor and ridicule to delegitimize the ruling elite, or as Mirlu explains, we must learn to treat the demagogue and aspirant dictators in our midst with the weapon of ridicule. The demagogue himself is almost incapable of humor of any sort, and if we treat him with humor, he will begin to collapse. A tactic recommended by Václav Havel, a political dissident under Soviet communist rule, who later became president of Czechoslovakia, is the construction of what are called parallel structures. A parallel structure is any form of organization, business, institution, technology, or creative pursuit that exists physically within a totalitarian society, yet morally outside of it. In communist Czechoslovakia, Havel noted that these parallel structures were more effective at combating totalitarianism than political action. Furthermore, when enough parallel structures are created, a second culture, or parallel society, spontaneously forms, and functions as an enclave of freedom and sanity within a totalitarian world? Or as Havel explains in his book, The Power of the Powerless, what else are parallel structures than an area where a different life can be lived? A life that is in harmony with its own aims, and which in turn structures itself in harmony with those aims. What else are those initial attempts at social self-organization than the efforts of a certain part of society to rid itself of the self-sustaining aspects of totalitarianism, and thus, to extricate itself radically from its involvement in the totalitarian system? But above all else, what is required to prevent a full descent into the madness of totalitarianism is action by as many people as possible. For just as the ruling elite do not sit around passively, but instead take deliberate steps to increase their power, so too an active and concerted effort must be made to move the world back in the direction of freedom. This can be an immense challenge in a world falling prey to the delusions of totalitarianism, but as Thomas Paine noted, tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. Yet we have this consolation with us, that the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph.
That's just something great to talk about over lunch today. See how I give you these for lunch conversations. Stop it. See? Isn't that nicely? Something to discuss over lunch. You know, what do you think about the mass psychosis? Are you a member of this mass psychosis? How would you recognize it if you were? Right? Maybe you're the totalitarian side. You haven't figured that out because you haven't looked in the mirror. I don't know.
I think they've just read Brave New World in 1984 a couple of times too many.
Too many things?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, though, Zachary. I will tell you this. I am of the age, because I grew up in the 80s, where, you know, we read in English like 1984 and these type of things. And all I can tell you is that if you would have told me when I was your age that we would be in the world we are today with the technological advances that we have made, none of us would have believed it. And the more we understand about the psychology of the technology, the more manipulative it becomes. Freaks me out, though.
I mean, I don't think we'll necessarily give up our entire freedom.
Huh?
I don't think we'll ever necessarily
I
give up
that.
our entire freedom.
What?
Or what you call freedom is no longer
Or some of us.
Chess.
I think
What
they'll always
do you think of Blue?
chase true freedom
Never
no
listened to
matter
it.
what.
You might like him. Maybe, maybe not.
Is he the guy that does like the baby voice? Yeah. What do you care about?
Yeah.
This guy sucks.
That's understandable.
I want a new employer.
Careful. Is your employee?
Yeah. You're an employee.
I'm not an employee.
To me. What have I been giving money to? What have I been giving money to? People push,
Best monkey.
pass around the
Best
hat
monkey?
in the room.
I'm torn because I really like gibbons, but I also really like orangutans. But they're gorillas.
We live in a totalitarian society. It's 11:43. I'm hungry. I want to go to lunch. There's lunch.
I love the orangutans.
We're not going to lunch.
But gorillas are just so chill.
Save that for the recording.
I think that objectively, gorillas are the best monkey. But personally, my favorite are orangutans. I know that's a hot take. I agree. I think orangutans are the best, personally. But I think gorillas are, like, statistically the coolest. They got monkey stats.
In every way. Orangutan.
You're biased.
You're biased because your dad's a gorilla.
Are you a gorilla? Can you provide a statement on that?
A gorilla. I'm a gorilla. Dogs.
Alright.
Burgers.
You heard it here first, folks. What do you have to say about this, Will?
Sex.
There you have it, folks.
He took the words right out of my mouth.
Took the words right out of his mouth.
Can you say let's go? We going? It is still my favorite ever. I love it.
This answers your question.
You're going the wrong way.
I don't know.
We're leaving. Me and Raphael are leaving. We're going. Me and you.
So,
2 peas in a pod.
I want to. What's your name?
Provide a statement.
Why?
My name is Phil.
Will.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's Will.
Yeah. You can call him Bill though. Or Billy.
I'll call you William.
Okay.
I was like, wait, has it been like this the whole song?
Is there a saying in Italian?
My name is Will, but you can give me a more formal name. I'm gonna call you formally. William.
Is there a saying in Italian that's like the Italian version of 2 peas in a pod?
I don't know.
Do you guys say
I
like
think there is, but I never had to use it. I never had friends. So.
you say like 2 tomatoes in a pod or something?
No, I don't think we use either peas or pawns. What the fuck do we use? Let me think.
What's Italian saying to say like 2 buds?
I don't know. Heck, I found another one in English. 2 sides of the same coin. But I can't find the Italian one.
2 sides of the same coin.
Yeah,
That's one of our sayings.
Yeah, never heard it.
Yeah.
I've heard it a lot.
In Italy? Or here?
No, in the internet.
Oh yeah.
In the beautiful hellhole that is the internet.
I think that's a good way to say it.
I think Bob Burnham said it quite well. You've heard it, right? Welcome to the internet.
Have I?
I hope you did.
Hey, look at that.
Oh, it's a piece of... It's one of the thingies you have on the thingamajig.
It's a piece of a thingamajig. Exactly.
It's the thing you have in the thingamajig.
Oh, no way. Provide a statement for the audience.
Hi. I'll provide a statement. Cats can fly if you throw them hard enough.
Alinity?
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 Sorry, I don't have enough understanding of English to understand.
The streamer. A Twitch streamer. Did they have Twitch in Italy?
I feel like I was trying to comprehend like a higher power would be like ants.
Do we have the internet in Italy?
Do you guys say...
Do we have
Is it
the
called
internet?
YouTube?
Do we have the internet in Italy?
Is it called YouTube in Italy?
No, they're different things.
What's it called in Italy?
Which are 2 different things.
So you don't have YouTube?
We have the internet.
No, you don't.
Twitch is part of the internet.
Yeah.
How can we not have that?
What's your favorite?
You idiot.
No, but does it say YouTube at the top?
What's his favorite Twitch stream?
Who's your favorite YouTube on the top number?
Like Ninja?
Who's your favorite Twitch stream?
Then it does. Who's your favorite streamer on Twitch? I never watched Twitch.
You want to say anything?
What?
You want to say anything?
What?
Andy.
No, not Andy. Not Andy.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Will.
You want to say anything?
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you back.
For what, Trip?
You said something. Jack said something that made me laugh, and everything was really funny.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He said, if you trick me one more time, I'm going to jizz my pants. Yes.
It was funny
Because he kept talking at set, and Jesse was like, told him to shut the fuck up. And then he's like, if you shoot me one more time,
I'm gonna pick my pants. Thank you.
Banana. I'm off the green. Raphael like strawberry.
I'm not gonna walk.
Strawberry.
Strawberry and blueberry.
Whoa. fucking wild. It's just no fucking way. Oh god, it's Mercury here. First you get a swimming pool. Full of milk. Hey, look, it's funny guy of the year. Funniest freshman.
Do you know about Mario's?
He's allergic to penicillin.
Yeah. You know about the ibuprofen?
Is he also allergic to ibuprofen?
No, he took an ibuprofen and his immune system like shut down, and that's why he went to the hospital.
Oh wow. So he's definitely also like fucky to ibuprofen.
Yeah. And he still says he's built different.
Well, he is technically. He's built like a piece of shit.
He's built bad. He said he was like me before the ibuprofen. It's just not true.
Mariano is built wrong. Something has gone horribly wrong in the construction of Mariano. Hey, wait, I'm still recording. I'll say that again. Something has gone horribly wrong in the construction of Mariano.
Yeah, something's wrong. He's falling apart right now. Listen, don't tell him I said anything, but he's falling apart right now. He can't keep himself together. He can't keep himself on his feet for more than like 3 days at a time. I feel bad for the guy. I don't think he's long for this earth. His mom is so hot, though.
I followed you.
Thank you.
I follow her on Instagram.
Me too. She posts funny ass memes, dude. They're so funny.
She won't accept my request.
She won't. That sucks, dude.
That's a fate worse than death.
Oh shoot, I forgot to.
At least it's free.
You don't have to write a review for everything.
No. Bro, this is so good. This song is so good.
What song?
Off the Grid. Here, you've heard this song.
So has Will.
Have you heard Off the Grid by Kanye West?
Yeah.
We're listening to it again.
What the hell? Jeremiah has this lunch? Since when? Jeremiah. Jeremiah!
Oh, I thought you were pointing at Levi.
Jeremiah always had this lunch.
Jeremiah.
Has he always had this lunch? No. Jeremiah!
Wait, Mitch?
Get your bro.
Not gonna lie, Untitled, Unmastered, hard as fuck.
No, not you. Levi.
Abdul got the V loan on. Yeah. Listen to this verse and tell me if it sounds gay or not.
Sit down.
What does he say?
Sit down. Yeah. It's stable. Yes. It's stable. Yeah. It's stable. Yes.
This table.
Doing like that, you have some side.
It's just Playboy Cardi.
Yeah, I don't really like it.
I understand.
Yeah, Dalton likes it.
He sounds a bit fruity though, right?
Dalton likes Playboy?
Dalton likes
No,
Playboy.
he does. He got a whole lot of red on. He literally got a whole lot of red on vinyl.
Hey, we've indoctrinated Breezy. You watched the Lil Nas X video 30 times last night.
Industry, baby.
Are you okay? He gay, isn't he? Didn't that verse
We
sound
made him a little
fruity,
fruity.
though?
You need to turn it up.
All
Alright.
full gay.
Welcome to the club,
Yeah. Weak.
Good song.
This part's better. Whoever's singing right now is better.
That's 5EO Foreign. I fucking love the transition of the beat here.
I don't know who it is, but
It's
better.
5EO Foreign.
I'm saying I don't know.
Yeah, no, he's not like big right now. This is the biggest thing he's done.
4 to 3. There's 3 mayo, 4 ketchup.
Oh, is that the same ratio you use? What?
I don't know.
4 to 3. What? 4 ketchup to 3 mayo.
I did 2 mayo, 3 ketchup.
I might just see how it is.
Breezy's making posters.
This album is long. True, that's pretty true. When you think about it, this album is long.
Like a big hole.
Just this sauce.
You have to read it. That is good. I
Oh, let's see if that's good. It needs more ketchup and I'll put it up. Perfection.
I don't write a lot of reviews. I mostly just rate it and go on with my day.
More like Kendrick Lamar stank.
No fucking way. I've been recording for 40 minutes, and I've used 2% battery.
That's awesome.
I might have started at 99 actually.
So iPhones are just trash.
You know the whole Lil Nas X thing?
Yeah.
Right.
Breezy watched it 30 times.
Wait, he's
last
alright?
night.
Yeah. Hey, I'll take my food.
Well, he got the usual.
You gotta scoot that one.
Alright, you got the gist of this song. I want you to give like a review of it.
I don't trust giving.
Oh wait, I
Aiden
forgot
my
that verse.
AirPod
Which
about
song?
food.
Never mind.
Which song's playing now?
Off the grid.
Still?
Aiden
Yeah,
said
it's a long
just,
song.
like,
It's not
dropped
long.
my AirPod in gravy.
My bad.
By the way, it works perfectly fine now.
Good.
Like, watching him one day.
What a great album.
Watch one day it just stops
Done?
working.
Yeah.
Apple's
Watch one day gravy start.
I actually really like it.
Free gravy?
Like,
Your wax gravy?
Off the grid.
I can't wait to hear Breezy's takes on how this is well.
Breezy's the kind of guy listen all girls are the same and then cry.
this guy going right now sucks.
This is Kanye.
Fuck
this guy.
Bro,
What do AirPods or curse at the same time?
bro, listen. So the rich people, us, we can wear AirPods normally.
Yeah,
Poor
but
can't.
poor people can.
It's just sad.
I mean, you need to fix that. Stop. Darman.
Learn how to make money, big money, all the money, or no money. It's like balls to the walls.
Invest $1, make 10.
Invest $10, make $100. Invest $100.
Control Z,
make
which is the world's longest Darman episode.
Exactly. Make $1,000.
And that's why it's
So
good.
You make $10,000. Invest $10,000, you get $100,000. You get $100,000, you get $1 million.
It's that
$1 million's
easy.
$10 million.
It's that easy.
Yeah, it is. Who was it that said that?
I don't know.
I think like Steve Harvey said something like that.
Somebody said something like that.
Breezy just said that Drake was better than Kanye.
Alright.
Drake's free, so I can.
You're wrong.
I love Drake,
I love Drake.
the rapper.
I'm the kind of guy to listen to Drake, not because I like him, just because I really want to see how fruity he is in his songs.
He's kind of good.
You would like Pop Smoke.
I really feel like that Drake.
Because the only part you like, the only part you said you liked about this song was pretty much just a Pop Smoke one.
What's wrong?
Off the grid. You like the drill part, but not the other parts.
He's Dalton.
So, alright, give me a comprehensive review of that song.
I like the beat.
Yeah.
Like the like that part sounds cool.
That's the drill part. Yeah. You
Yeah.
would like drill. You should listen to
This
Pop
is
Smoke.
what my kind of music.
I hate band drill.
His music is all like,
The Baby Blue Sky verse is the worst part.
you don't like Playboy Cardi?
What?
He likes drill.
Like,
I showed him off the grid, and he said that Fabio Foreign was the best part.
he's right.
Yeah,
Although
you're right.
the last Kanye verse,
The Kanye goes off in the last one.
He was alright.
and
I said that part. I said this guy right now sucks as a joke. Because I knew it was Kanye.
Can I put on a song for you, John?
I'm going with Dan as well.
I'm putting on a song.
That's only my second time listening to it.
I'm
Right.
listening to a song about killing Al Qaeda.
But I mean, the best part is probably the beat, and then the best.
the best line from the song is
verses is that one guy.
Fabio Foreign.
I'm telling him he would like Pop Smoke
What song?
if he likes that stuff.
What song?
Yeah, he would.
Listen to Gotti, the song
I know
he did
that
with
song.
Travis Scott.
By who?
Listen to Meet the Woo too first. Don't listen to
Fox
his
Pop?
post-mortem shit. Do not ever listen to Faith. Don't listen to Faith. Anything off that album.
Yeah,
No,
fuck
no,
Faith.
that's
I
Fox
hate
Pop.
Faith.
My bad.
Faith is fine. What are you?
She's a bitch.
No, she's not.
What? She's fine.
Are you talking about the front instructor?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's fine.
She's kind of bad though.
Mitch has a big old crush on her.
Does he?
Yeah.
He knows.
He
his
acts
job.
different.
No, it's God's plan, but
Mitch is like different since
Sometimes
senior
I
year.
win, sometimes I don't.
Mitch is like different since the year started.
That's true.
Is she actually a bitch?
No,
Yeah.
she's not. She's cool.
She's annoying as shit.
She like actually talks to us.
can you listen?
That's what I don't want from an instructor.
Crank the volume.
Can you hear it?
What's your
Describe
major?
your perfect. Describe your perfect instructor.
One that doesn't talk to us.
If you don't want to have
Lawrence.
You liked Keenan though.
Lawrence. I fucking forgot about him. Lawrence was a goat.
You liked Keenan and Seth though, and they,
Yeah,
they all they did was talk to us.
Because they didn't know how to play drums.
Yeah, they did. They just didn't do it.
They knew how. They just didn't fucking care.
Exactly, bro. That's so goated.
That's what Faith does. We talk for like 30 minutes before we start doing anything. Yes, bro.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
You just have a crush on her. She is not an interesting person.
You're a hater, bro.
I am. And I'm proud.
Why don't you eat some penicillin?
Yeah.
Are you proud to be an American? Or at least you know your
body like built right?
Me and you kiss.
Well,
right now.
you see, I took an ibuprofen one day.
It's not the fucking ibuprofen fault.
Chill. Yes, it is,
Yeah.
bro.
Oh, I think that guy.
No, that's the reason.
Because my immune system was working all its life.
Oh, by the way,
Took an ibuprofen.
I got
it was like,
Brayden's
damn, I
stuff.
can chill. And then took a vacay and never came
He
back.
did a cartwheel yesterday, Miss Cortesio. Today he does the same thing, and he did a run up too.
What is this
He got
like
mad.
awful crazy table?
It's a
Look
ball
at Cooper, Zach, Levi,
Oh my god.
Hey, banger.
the two twins.
This is the same guy who made
Oh my god. You don't like him? You don't like Playboy Cardi?
I don't like the baby boy. He's the baby boys guy.
He uses that like all the time.
I don't like
You
baby
probably
boys.
wouldn't like that.
Why? Good. Why? It's cool.
I'm trying to think of songs that he doesn't do the baby voice.
This came out March
I mean,
3rd,
even
2021.
what?
Long time.
All the time.
Long time.
Long time. Oh, he doesn't do it on long time.
Here's a song.
I mean, there's times where he like turns it down, but he's never like not.
out the closet.
Why is it dumb?
That's my favorite song I've done.
It sounds dumb.
I used to
What?
not like it too.
That sounds like a Donda song.
Dick mode. First day of the closet, rubbing off the dick, God's cock.
Mo
Mo
booty.
booty.
It's just Obama, but about being gay.
I got
Isn't the original Obama already about moving?
Nope.
This song
What's
really
it
makes me-
about?
What's it about though? He got
He's
host.
got
Are you still here?
What?
Are you still here?
What do you mean?
I'm surprised you haven't died yet.
Maybe I have.
He's right.
No,
I
it's
think
with
you should eat
someone
more
who.
rocks.
You should eat some more rocks for Pope.
Should I
Who wants
start
my
eating
bread?
rocks again?
You want bread? You want bread? Who wants bread? We got any ducks in the audience?
Hey, straight up bun bread is disgusting.
I know, that's why I didn't eat it.
But what bread is good by itself?
Hawaiian rolls?
Hawaiian rolls are good. That's an
Sourdough?
exception.
Like
Sourdough
garlic
is
bread?
an acquired taste. Garlic bread is pretty great.
Brioche.
Croissants? Were you making a thing that like
Dinner
all breads
rolls.
taste good by themselves?
Yeah, obviously.
Not
Is yours
really.
wrong?
Yeah, obviously.
Dinner roll.
Not really. I just expected him
Don't
to
like
be
it
like,
up and add it.
I like wheat, free,
Look at the little bit
sugar
about it.
patties.
Whole wheat? Mini muffins.
Hey, Zach.
Could you go to my tweet and add a
Is
little bit of
his name Zach? Or is it Jack?
Can you go to my tweet
Yeah,
and add a little
This
bit
guy's like funny man of the year.
Is his name Zach or Jack?
Zach.
Is it Zach or
Wait,
Jack?
yesterday when we're at SAP, we have our horns up, we're not supposed to talk.
Bro, her mom,
Show me the
hot.
Olivia Rodrigo?
No.
Oh, my girlfriend.
Yeah, her mom, Shelly can get this dick. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you wouldn't be the first to tell me that. People tell me more about my girlfriend's mom than my girlfriend.
Who's hotter?
In my opinion.
Who's hotter?
How could you not
Mom?
show this
Mom.
table?
I've never seen her mom.
You've never,
Definitely her
I don't know if I have
mom.
a
Oh,
picture.
I got
Show
her on
me.
Instagram.
It's on her Insta.
Yeah, oh, you're so right. She has a bikini pic on her Instagram.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, you gotta show me.
This is her.
Wait, that's Maddie's mom.
Wait.
Let me see.
Yes, it is, bro. No way.
Yeah, I met her.
That's her. Just go down to that house, like right over there. She's there. Hold up, I got you with.
Show me another picture.
Chill. Show me another picture. Show me more pictures. Show me more.
Here, legs.
Can I dip?
Legs.
Yeah.
Legs.
That one.
Yeah, here you go. Here you go.
How old is she?
She's like what? Like
She was 18 when she had Maddie.
so she's 38. She's
She's doing pretty good.
No, she's 36.
I'm so happy.
Don't fuck my
She's
girlfriend's
36.
mom.
Angel, she's half my age.
I'm so
she's
happy
double
my
my
friend's
age.
girlfriend has a
Hold
hot
up.
mom.
Yes.
Hold up.
What?
Hey,
I
hey.
can get it.
You can get it. It's legal.
I'm half her age.
Wait, why can't he, but I can?
Because
You're
I'm
not.
18.
He's 18.
I will be who?
That doesn't matter. I'm already winning.
If you fuck my
You're a
girlfriend's
bot.
mom, I'd only be like a little bit upset.
You really?
I
You'd only be a little bit.
I wouldn't be like too mad about it.
I would have all of
Wait,
them.
if I was 18,
Have you
would
met
you be
her?
mad?
I'd be mad if you.
What?
Have you met her?
Have I met Maddie's mom?
Why
Yes.
can't I be happy?
No, listen. I just
Is it true?
I just FaceTime you
Yes.
one day like.
What?
at
You like
her
tiny
house.
face people?
She kind of has tiny face.
You're a true Cars fan.
No.
Would you have a threesome with Maddie's mom, Maddie? And
Yes!
I think I'd feel uncomfortable. That's incest. I'm not.
That
I'm not
is-
down with
Okay,
it.
cool.
That's real incest.
Have you ever had a problem with it before?
Yes.
Yes, but without Maddie. Because that's it.
Hey,
I don't do my bros.
GameStop Spider-Man.
So, you, Maddie's mom,
Hello.
My
And who else?
Right now. Send me a text and I'll do it. Once I get some food.
The fireplace
I'll
in the
just send it to
kitchen.
you. I'll share it.
I don't even remember what she looks like. What she look like?
Like Maddie was
What?
sharper.
My grandma died text.
Maddie, but what?
Sharper, but taller.
Oh,
Hey, Sharp.
Read it?
Hey, Zach.
what's your
Hey,
name
Zach.
on Twitter?
And it's just me.
Hey, Zach.
Oh wait, never mind.
He's not eating his food.
Like, look at this shit.
Why are you not following me?
Do I not follow you?
I like how the entire thing was like gravitated away from Gracie.
What if you unfollow him when he's gone?
Yeah, because he's looking at like one.
And then we have the same conversation every
I'm
time.
actually kind of proud about my tweets. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I've noticed you get a lot of likes.
Let me show that.
I get a lot of likes.
You get a lot of likes. Will gets like mad likes on here. I don't know why.
That's 'cause he's famous.
You get like hella likes.
Literally, I get like 2 likes. And sometimes when I post a picture of you, it's like 10.
That's true. That tweet of me got like 10 likes.
Oh yeah. And whenever I posted it, I don't know why, but like I posted it, and it got nine.
So pretty much.
And then I posted
6 likes on
comfort
Fruit
color.
Time with the Capybara.
Is
Or
it
5
small?
likes.
Is it a comfort color?
8 likes on your Dream one.
Comfort color.
4 likes on the Can We Normalize Murder. 9 likes on the Reese one.
Garen also got 9 likes on the picture of me. So apparently I just inflate tweets.
I
Was it
think-
on the same
I wouldn't be shocked if the same exact people like the photo. Let's look.
My most liked tweet has like 66 likes on it.
Olivia Rodrigo is
Mine's
never
like
going to
52.
Mine was like at like 400.
What? What did you tweet?
James, I tweeted at James K.
anybody
White.
That's also that's my 66 likes.
You know how hard it is for me to find love?
Yeah. So I'm sure like it was the same exact people that like my tweet. Proper like Brady.
Except for
We can eat this shit.
I'm done.
Wait, I don't know.
So
Why didn't
I have the best
comment of
clip.
Olivia Rodrigo got 2 likes and everyone else got 1 to none.
Did you like
But
it?
Will is just a.
It wasn't me.
They were like,
They were like not too soft for you.
It was
Hey, you have a cool profile picture.
Taylor and Gary.
I know. I found it myself. I have the best Twitter profile out of anyone here.
profile.
I don't know, Mariana has to make
Will you stop? I'm gonna put you on a grill and eat you. You're probably the best to eat, huh?
I like you tweeting here a word.
I have the best tweets.
Oh, yeah, I want.
I like the tweet.
Yeah, I like you.
What'd I do?
What did you do?
You're so bipolar.
But yeah, I miss beginning of poop.
I was gonna give it to
Sophomore year
Mallory.
COVID was fucking crazy.
No, okay, when Claire said that,
I was gonna give it
I
to
was like,
Mallory.
that is fucking ridiculous to say that life is as good as it was back then right now.
No, I don't want
That is
that.
the
I don't
boldest
want
statement
that.
I've ever heard.
Take it.
I do not.
I don't want.
I don't want that shit.
You can have it. Just have both.
Breezy's just jerking off all the time. What's new?
Yes, sophomore year COVID was
Literally like the happiest I've ever been.
No, I actually was like super
blowing
happy.
up about. This is what he watches. This
When
is
did it
what
start
he
getting
likes
bad?
on TikTok.
When we went back to school.
Yeah.
When school was actually something you had to do.
This is what Breezy spends his free time doing.
We off the.
That's what he does.
Dude, you have this like.
They say
Liked and saved.
No, not saved.
Like,
be
I don't remember liking that either.
because black men will
never
shed tears.
No Breezy likes it.
No,
Fuck you, Hayden.
my water bottle.
That's gonna be the title of my mixtape. Fuck you, Hayden. And your face is gonna be on it. It'll look like No Love Deep Web, but with Hayden.
I gotta like that. Yeah. Can it be Hayden's cock?
No, it's gonna be a cock and Hayden's feature is just photoshopped on the tip of the penis. And on the written, it's gonna say,
Found Milk James.
you fucking macaroni.
Will, you should invest in a handkerchief.
Aaron, will you mean this?
Will
I
doesn't
should turn
believe in
my
handkerchiefs. He's the definitely type of guy to be like, what? That's just some weird napkin.
What is it?
Right, Will? What is it?
He's too busy stabbing.
Milk James.
What is it? What is a handkerchief, Will?
What is this?
Ignore them, Will.
Will, what's a handkerchief, huh?
It's a oh my god.
Will,
I didn't even see what happened.
What's the question?
what's a handkerchief?
It's like a thing. It's like a.
Of course. You know it. Huh?
Why would I know that?
Will, you think it's a silk napkin that you put right here and you can blow your nose in.
This thing is fucking huge. This thing is huge. This thing is huge.
That's like my cock. He's giving me envy, bro.
Ah, no!
Opposite of Chode Nana. You got Chode
This is the size of James K. Twice.
Yeah. That's true. Like, this is mine.
Oh, no.
You can have this. Zach, put it back. Put it back on. Reattach it.
No.
Frankenstein.
No, what's going on?
That's Mariano. Got a foreskin.
What's this one?
Mariano, you're uncircumcised. Yeah. Mariano is uncircumcised.
He is.
You're the first to know, Will.
No, please don't. I hope
What?
Will was the first to know. That you were uncircumcised? Yeah. That's not true. There's so many people that knew before.
I knew. We had a whole conversation
Your
about
mom,
it.
the doctor, your dad.
You're funny.
That's good. The nurse who jerked you off. Why is that funny? What the fuck? What the fuck?
it's true. The nurses aren't like these.
What the fuck? Is that how circumcision is?
This is a hashtag.
If you took it off her, they can have my
I don't know. You don't know.
Already like it.
Hold on.
You're gonna break the fucking plate.
Hey, careful, guys. You don't want to throw the plate away.
Daniel came back.
How in the heck do you like accidentally throw a plate away?
Yeah, I don't know. Like this.
Ass fucking
Like this. What is it?
Let me have it.
No. This dude spilled shit on me saying that all day. He would tell you.
I know.
Can you stop saying that you're a Skylander? I hate you.
Skyland. Damn, they just removed the time symbol on the TV, huh?
It's stagnant LeBron.
Is it okay?
Replaced it with an American flag.
This from my Twitchy.
Chode Nana.
Oh, he knew it. Hey, yo, just send it. Just send it.
Hey, bro. Chill.
I couldn't get good rotation on it.
Stop, bro. It's becoming
Fucking
cream.
dumbass over here.
Stop it.
Making a fucking banana shake.
Come on.
Bro, it's becoming a liquid. Bro, stop. It's becoming a liquid. Horrible.
No, Kabul, don't. No.
This hurts my arm.
Kabul, you look like a dumbass right now. Stop.
Come on, quit.
Kabul, come on, bro. No.
How many?
No, Kabul.
He says go all the way.
No. No, Kabul. Kabul, stop.
Where do I put it?
Just on, yeah. Right, put it right there, yeah. Stop, bro. Just set it down. Just set it. No, don't finish it. No, Kabul.
Just set it
You don't
down.
have to do this. Kabul, you don't have to.
Put it down.
Kabul,
What do you want?
Where?
What
Hey, on Will's trade, bro.
He's gonna hold it. No.
Hey,
He's gonna hold it.
come on, put it on Will's fucking box, bro.
That's worse than the Obunga.
Just set it down.
Set it down like a person.
I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold it till lunch yet.
Bro, it's all over your hand.
Yeah, I know.
Bro, you came on your head.
I'm holding it till lunch yet.
That banana's looking like me. Jared grabbed it from me.
I want fucking banana shake all over me. Oh, he put the banana in that milk.
Are you flaccid?
Are you flaccid?
Bro, listen. The word flaccid is one of the funniest words in the world. Flaccid is hilarious.
Are you flaccid right now?
Are you
flaccid?
I don't want all this shit.
I hate you.
Flaccid on Thursday afternoon.
Oh.
No.
Come on, man. Oh shit.
Oh shit. Oh fuck.
Oh, damn. He's up that road.
You take that.
Oh. Why is it like a smoothie? Did it heat up while being in the air?
Whoa, Major.
You lost the table.
I don't know. I don't know who they are. You're part of their table now.
You better know.
No! No!
Does it still have bananas?
I hate you. Why? Why? I could just. You would kill me. I would die.
Well, what if I reacted more strongly to that and flung myself off of the banister?
It'd be hilarious.
What if I was like, oh shit!
Did I turn that?
Oh shit! World War II soon. What's that? He's dropping bombs. Eli!
I turned the sink on and it was just like.
I'm sitting there hanging out.
What the fuck did you make?
What?
What the fuck was that? That drink.
What drink?
That.
What?
You know I'm named after that guy?
What? What do you mean? What did we make?
Neelan. Yeah, his middle name was Reese.
He was flinging around a banana.
He was flinging around.
Yeah, I was flinging around.
There was banana game. I'm pretty epic.
Yeah, I was flinging around a banana, so I got put in a weird situation.
Bye, Shrimp. I love you.
Bye, Shrimp. It's a freshman.
It was a freshman.
Littering. You fucking litter bird.
It's called creating jobs.
I got put at the bad table for flinging a banana around.
Yeah, that you got put into like gay baby jail. You deserve it. You want to go to gay baby jail with Kripal? It's what it sounds like.
You're going to hell, baby.
Or that. You want to go to hell?
You got that messed up. Gay baby jail is where all the FNAF shirts are.
Yeah, and you. I'm fixing to be. A bunch of FNAF shirts and you.
I'm fixing to buy a FNAF.
Mr. Dan.
Sir?
You got any tissues?
I do. They're on my.
Oh, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Thank you. Thank you. Of course, buddy. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, damn me up.
Whoa, sorry. Wrong end.
Nord, say Nord.
I'm thinking about buying a FNAF shirt.
One thing about
No, you are not.
we do this. Oh.
up, Reese?
This is going all wrong.
What? Thanks.
You've been calling me weird for the past like week.
What? Oh yeah, completely unfounded, totally.
What?
Oh, I threw away that peanut butter jelly sandwich.
Why'd you throw it away?
I didn't mean. I meant to put it in my pocket. Oh no.
Is this still recording?
Yeah. You wanna say
Hi.
anything? You got a statement you want to provide?
Everything's equal. You know, free love, free spirit to everybody. Have a good day. Have a great day. You guys have been blessed with LG 7 times.
Okay. That's your favorite. Huh? You chew on this too? Don't put that on my desk. I don't want your chew. There's spit on it.
Meditate, I read books.
Can we meditate, folks?
I study a lot. Huh? No, I'm a nonfiction person. I read a lot of nonfiction.
Fiction, fake, non-fiction.
Not that I don't like video games, it's that I feel if I play them, that'll take away from other parts of my life.
Where are the ingredients?
Oh, I played outside all the time. All the time. No, I didn't get into books till college. I realized I never knew. I never knew there was a whole nother world out there. Well, I got to make sure, Isaac, that we can talk our way through here.
It is. Over an hour. Who did this?
It's just your name.
Who did that?
I have no idea.
I thought you did it. That seems like something. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. That seems like something you would do.
Do you know what you're doing? How do you know what you're doing?
All right, everything's.
Fellow Earthling. Fellow.
We got a few guests today, and it's good because Bryson, we're talking about society and politics. Okay.
Cool.
Philosophy within the realm of society and politics. Like, what's the best way to govern people? Does this make sense? Now, there's a fundamental question, Bryson, that is being asked at this point in time. And this question comes about through Enlightenment philosophers Thomas Hobbes and John Locke. And they ask this fundamental question about human beings living in a state of nature. Are you with me? Okay. So the idea is very simple, Bryson. Imagine yourself in a state of nature. Before there was culture and art, before there was music, all of these things, you are living in a state of nature. Can you imagine this? And so the question is, what is our nature as human beings in that state? Are you with me so far? Does this make sense? How do you see human nature in a state of nature? Okay, well, let's say, young Bryson, that you were... What is your fundamental instinct as a human being? The base fundamental instinct is to do what? Survive. Thank you very much. So in a state of nature, survival is the ultimate thing, right? So would you say that in a state of nature, men become more violent towards one another, or perhaps more altruistic or more cooperative towards one another? Think so? More violent? You're very Hobbesian. Because as you see, and as Cain understands, Hobbes believed that in a state of nature, we were all equal. I could kill Colby, Colby could kill me. That's nature, right? We're equal in nature. But, young Bryson, we also have this intrinsic desire to be free. Okay? Free. Free. Like being able to do what we want when we want to do it, you see. But if we are negative or violent by nature, how can we be truly free? Even though we're truly free in a state of nature, we still may suffer violence, which would then end our right to be free. Does this make sense? So Hobbes concluded that in order to bring about the best way for us to survive, we needed somebody to make the rules because we basically suck as human beings. So we need a king or a monarch to make these rules by which we follow. And even if you don't like the rules at least prevent violence from occurring. Thus, you get a better chance to survive. Now, granted, you're going to have to lose your liberty, but you get to survive. You like this idea? You do like this idea? So you think we should be under a king?
Yeah.
Your God.
We already
Okay.
are. We're under a president.
It's not a king.
But now, young Bryson, young Lucas,
What are you mad about?
we're going to enter into a new way of looking at this. Okay? And the way we're going to look at this is through the lens of another political philosopher by the name of John Locke. Okay? Oh, Aristotle was a political philosopher, yes. We've already visited Aristotle, right? And we've already discussed how Colby and Allie, they're going to have a child, they're going to expose it to cold, right? And they're going to make it tough. And if it's blemished, they're going to kick it off a mountain. We've already talked about all this. But John Locke views things a little bit different, okay? Now watch this, Dalt. Here's the question right here. These are all the Locke questions. Now, Colby, may I ask, why so many questions for Locke? I'll tell you.
Big deal.
Thank you, Dalt. It's a big deal to what? To how we view, or dare I say, Colby, how you have been taught to view the best form of government.
Stop.
Now, Colby, usually I teach U.S. government, and I quite hate it, but I teach it. Not because I hate our system of government. I just realized that young people like yourself could care less about the system of government they live under, but then bitch and moan when their rights are taken from them, even though, you see, it's like, I hate reading the Bible, but I love God. I hate reading the Constitution, but love the rights that it gives me. You see the disconnect here? But Locke, his ideas are the ideas that radiate through our understanding of what government is supposed to be. But that's not the first question you need to ask. The first question you need to ask is, what's the best form of government? Dare I say. Can anybody give me an example or a definition of anarchy from a political vantage point? All right, Megan.
We got people from Chicago, we got people from Atlanta. Boom.
So you're identifying anarchy as chaos. I'm asking about it in a political sense. The political movement of anarchy. Yes.
It's not necessarily chaos. It's like the decentralization of authoritarian. Like there's not as much authority, and that the peace comes from people working together and not from necessarily a top-down, but more or less a horizontal perspective of agreement.
It appears, young Will, that if you are truly an anarchist, you truly believe in the goodness of man.
You would have to.
You would have to. Because an anarchist says there really is no need for a government. Man can regulate himself. And in the regulation of himself, why would there need to be a government? So thus, without a government, you are most maximally free. Does that make sense? Okay? So an anarchist is not one that views things as chaos. We just call chaos anarchy. But from a political movement, it's I have the ability to regulate myself, right? Thus, I don't need a government. What is the old Chinese proverb, Eli, that, what is it? The weak man needs a law, the righteous man governs himself, or something like that? Yeah, right? Like, the righteous man doesn't talk when the king is talking. Colby, you see, this is an example. But we are Locke, like how we view the story. We have bought Locke's model of the story. I don't know if it's the best model or not. It's just the model we have adopted in our story, America. This liberal democratic theory that is kind of sweeping the globe right now, that you have individual rights and the government. So the conflict here, young Eli, you're a political philosopher, people in a poli-sci in college. What's the role of government in your life? What is your responsibility to that government? Right? That's social contract theory. But Will might be an anarchist. Will might say there's no philosophical need for a government because I can govern myself. Now granted, I dare say that there are a few of us in this room that might be able to survive really well without a centralized government if we could understand and trust one another, right? Hobbes would not agree with that. Hobbes would say, you're always going to act in your own self-interest, right? And you're going to put your interests above the other. That's why we need an authority. But Will might say, no, if I take my group right here, we don't need a central authority because we can govern ourselves appropriately and we can survive in a really good way, right? Does this kind of make sense? Okay? The way you demonstrate this is see how quickly this room would break down if I left. Could you regulate yourselves in a way that would remain calm? Or would I come back and Dalton's crashed through the ceiling, right? And Isaac is doing God knows what, and someone's on the parallel bars over there, right? We turn into these monkeys, like just, everyone just chaos. So it's how you view human nature. How do you see it, right? And this is the question that Emma was like wrestling with. What's the base nature?
No.
And very few people argue that our base nature is intrinsically good or altruistic. Hobbes just said that base nature is more violent than it is good, whatever you define good as. But Locke said it's better than it is bad. Thus, if we have a better angel of our nature, and that nature is more prevalent within us, then the form of government that we have adopted is the best form of government. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it's like how we talked about a little bit before, how like an instinct is to come together and to
Yeah.
Discussing groups and that the
Anything
instinct is
that's
that they
soy-based meat.
that working together will
Not in our group.
help us out.
Not in our group. You don't.
It's a better,
We
it's a
are
better
meat
way about
eaters.
going through life than alone.
What?
And I think that's why we kind of like look to government and create governments.
You do that for us.
Most political philosophers agree that we can survive in small groups. It's just that the group has got too big to practice certain instincts. So our group is so tribalized that we have inner conflict. And you need some government to regulate that conflict. This is the idea, right? But Locke does agree with Hobbes that in a state of nature, man is ultimately free. Okay? In a state of nature, man is free. But that freedom comes with a cost. And what's the cost?
Vulnerability.
That's a great word. Vulnerability. Right? So, like the video said before lunch, many of us are willing to give up that freedom for a security that keeps our vulnerability from being more vulnerable. Does this make sense? That I've got to give up something if I'm going to be safe. Okay? But an anarchist, I'm just using Will as an example, I'm not saying he is one, would say, I don't need that regulation. I, the self, will regulate and do that which is good. But Socrates, going all the way back to Socrates and Plato, they said that's absurd. Look around. Just look around you right now. Socrates and Plato said there's no way a democracy can work. Because people don't care. They don't seek virtue. They don't explore things ethically. They are self-motivated. They are weak in their mind. They are led astray by the masses, right? And all you have to do is look around you and see, right, if this is true or not. But in a state of nature, we are totally free. All right? Second question. According to Locke, what elements missing in the state of nature lead men to join in commonwealth? Here's what he says. Why do men bind together in a state of nature?
Need for established law.
I mean, anybody does.
Is it just number 2?
Reproduction.
Is it just number 2?
Yeah, we're on number 2.
All right.
There's reproduction is not in there.
The need for established law.
Law. Just stay right there. Law. Now I grant that if my 5 anarchists lived in a state of nature, you would probably in some way, shape, or form create laws to distribute resources or what have you. But a true anarchist would say you don't even need laws because the altruistic nature of who you are, you're always going to put others before yourself and regulate yourself in a way that you'll not harm somebody else.
Yes.
This is a very powerful way of looking at human beings. But Hobbes and Locke both understand that's not how it is, or at least that's not how they think it is. We have a deep selfish instinct, right? To sleep during class, to do whatever that instinct is, to be on our smart watches or doing other things. We have this deep instinct to be selfish. So you need laws, okay? But not just that. According to Locke, this is Locke. What is the sole purpose of a government? It has actually 2 primary things it's supposed to do.
The enforcement and execution of law.
Okay. To issue law that protect your what?
Your unalienable rights.
Your inalienable rights, that's one. And the second is to do what? Will, you said it.
The second one is to enforces laws.
to institute justice for those who break that law, right? So if I unlock and I say, all right, here's the law, you can't be doing this, right? I'm making a teacher, right? This is the law, right?
Maybe keep you as
Now, she might
keep you
say,
as a pet.
well, this is my personal right. This is my inalienable right. So Locke would say, okay, I'm going to give this back to her, because that is her right. But if she takes away her right to view it, then my job is to punish her for doing so. So to Locke, the idea of government is to protect your rights, period, end of sentence, and to distribute justice to those who harm your rights. It says nothing about food stamps. It says nothing about government supposed to provide for its citizens. It says nothing of that. Government's sole purpose is A and B. That's any line. And if you abide by it that way, what do you maximize?
Freedom.
Why isn't this? Do you guys know this so well that this is not revolutionary to you? Whatever. Check. For most of human existence, young man, after the Neolithic Revolution, we have lived under the banner of a king, or a tyrant, or a pharaoh, or an emperor. The idea that you have individual rights and values is not even a thing. That's all you've ever known.
And Cabal, we are a tortured pet.
So why are we not defending that which we know?
Cabal ate rock.
I don't know. I'm making crap up now.
You're
All right.
probably fine.
So let's look at number 3.
It's not how that works. What powers according to Locke does man possess?
According to Locke, Bryson,
Fresh pack.
there are certain powers,
Costco.
liberties, let's call them, that you have to be willing to give up. There are certain things that you have to be willing to give up if we are going to live as a collective whole. What are some things that you're going to have to give up if you're going to live in a society?
You'll remain the same, but if you don't give me it, you go down. I don't like this deal. Alright, I'll give you up 1. I don't remember what you were at. I think it was like 95, 96.
Everybody?
Sure, everybody. Anybody who can read.
Okay, drugs.
You need rock. I can't give you gum. What? You need a rock.
First, everybody else gets it. The second power he gave. You got it, buddy.
I said anyone who could read. Dalton, read number 3.
The power to preserve and protect himself and others as allowed by the law of nature, and the power to punish others who disobey the law.
All right, so Dalton.
That was a good class.
What are the 2 functions of government according to Locke?
What will you give me? What do I get in return?
You just said.
What can I do? I don't know. You tell me. Say you'll eat meat.
Inalienable rights.
Say you'll eat meat.
No. The 2 functions of government: to protect an individual's rights.
Oh, yeah.
And to do what if somebody breaks those rights?
You have it like a cigarette. Oh,
Guys.
yeah. That's some good stuff.
To enforce the law or to distribute justice. Now, in a state of nature, Dalton, what do you have the right to do in a state of nature if somebody wishes you harm?
Kill.
You have the right to your own self-defense. You have the right to initiate violence if somebody is violent towards you, right? So here's all he's saying. You have to give up this idea that you can dispense justice. So laws have to be put in place where you are not the one that has to dispense the justice. You're giving up your freedom of initiating or protecting yourself, and you're giving that part up to the law itself. Does that make sense? Okay? And what other right must you give up?
Partial freedom.
In the third answer.
The first piece.
Natural powers.
Okay.
Wait.
No, hold on. Just hold on. All right, there's a law. Okay?
Totality.
Dalton, are you ready? Well, I'm up here, buddy. All right. I live in a house. Okay? All right, Dalton? Dalton. All right? You are breaking into my house. Under the law, listen, under the law, I can protect my house, let's say. So if you break into my house and I shoot you, I am within the law, right? Okay? If you come into my house and I shoot you but don't kill you, what do I give up after that occurs?
Years of your life in prison.
No, I'm abiding within the law. What can't I do? Why? Because I don't have the right to punish those who disobey the law. It's only the government that has the right to do that. I have the right within the law to protect myself, but only to the extent that I deem necessary to protect. So if I shoot and kill you when you enter my house, I'm still under the law, and I have the right to do that. But if I shoot you, you are out, and then come up and shoot you in the head, I don't have that right. So I don't get the opportunity to protect myself and to distribute the law or justice. Does this make sense? If somebody harms my child, or you, or somebody else that I care about, it's not up to me to determine your fate. It's the state that determines what justice is in that instance. You guys know what a vigilante is?
Yes.
What's a vigilante?
A superhero.
It's someone that enforces the law without the law's permission.
Thank you.
Oh, guy from Watch Dogs.
A vigilante is somebody that enforces the law.
And technically, Batman is a vigilante.
Absolutely.
Because he doesn't have
Spider-Man's
the
not a
permission
vigilante.
to fight those super criminals.
They just kill people.
A vigilante, if somebody harms my child,
What?
and I go out and distribute the law or the justice upon them, I take a katana sword and chop off the dude's head.
Spider-Man,
Right?
Batman maybe.
I am acting outside of the law.
He's otherworldly.
This to the law cannot happen. Because you have to have a nation under the law, and you have to trust that the government that is formed will dispense the justice needed. You have to get outside of nature if you want to live in a society where law is the thing that preserves the society.
What?
All right, Isaac, let's see if we can get you woken up here. All right, 3 forms of government. Please do not say executive, judicial, legislative. According to Locke, there are 3 types of government that men can live under. Anybody want to take a guess? According to Locke, there are 3 distinct types of government that men can choose. In other words, out of our own minds, there are 3 types of governments that can be used to keep people in line and surviving. Democracy is one. Some sort of totalitarian monarch or king is another. What's an oligarchy? Yeah. So an oligarchy is simply, let's say, these five make the rules for everyone else. They're the oligarchy. They're the ones that are establishing the rules for others. And it can take on many different forms. So when we think of ancient Athens, think of Athens as democracy. Sparta would be a
Totalitarian.
oligarchy. And then you could look at what a monarchy is through history. So at least in an oligarchy, you're getting more people involved. In a democracy, you're getting more people involved. But in a monarchy, you only have one person involved. Those are your options according to Locke. Okay? There are 4 distinct powers of government, according to Locke. 4 distinct powers. Anybody want to take a guess?
Enforcement of laws.
4 distinct powers of a government.
Legislative.
Somebody that makes or passes law. That could be the king. It could be the people. It could be the oligarchy. Something that distributes the law or enforces justice. Could be the king, right? Could be the king. This goes back to the whole, we always pull this back in. This goes back to the idea of God. Is God a monarch? Is God a democratic leader? Is God part of a greater gods? Right? Does God get to distribute law, make the law, judge the law? Is he all of that wrapped in one?
I don't think he's the government. I don't think religion and government mix well.
I think I'm losing Isaac here. All right, Isaac. Basic U.S. Government 101. The legislative branch makes the law, the judicial branch interprets the law, the executive branch enforces the law. In a monarchy, it encompasses all 3. In a democracy, we usually split it up. And in an oligarchy, it is by one group body that distributes everything within itself. But what does he mean by federative? We are a federalized democratic republic. What does that mean? We are a federal government. A federated government. What does that mean?
A large overhang over a ton of smaller little governments.
And the little ones look exactly like
Smaller version.
the big one. That's it. Yeah. We have a federal government. Then we have a state government. But the state government is set up exactly like the federal government. Right? And then we have local governments that are set up like the state, which is set up like the federal. That's a federalist system. Why this type of system? Okay, let's talk. This might get you lively. Texas. Oh boy. What did Texas just do?
Ban abortion.
Something about abortion.
1973. Okay, Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade said that a woman's right to choose up to week 22 is legal. You guys with me? Texas just created a law that said abortion is now illegal after 6 weeks. What is the state just challenged?
Law. The big government.
The federal law. Okay? But it's acting within the same, it's playing by the same rules, and it's giving states certain powers so the government doesn't have all the power. Marijuana. How many states is recreational marijuana legal?
13?
I know it's at least 11. It might be 13.
It's like
now.
10, 13.
But every state that has legalized marijuana is breaking what?
Federal law.
Federal law. Okay? So the idea of a federalist system is you keep this tension between the overarching government, state governments, local governments. There's always a tension between them so that they can help regulate each other. Does that make sense? So the federal government can't get too powerful or state governments too powerful, right? And even within state governments or local governments, like we have the city of Alcoa, but we even break it down smaller than that. What is the governing body of Alcoa City Schools?
The education system.
The school board, right? We have a 5-member school board. That is the smallest unit we can get to within this dynamic of a federalized system. I am boring the crap out of you, aren't I?
It's kind of.
There's aspects of it that are interesting.
It's like,
It's cool. Society and politics.
like you're about to say something and then it goes away. And it's like, it comes back and then it goes back away.
I've already told you what each branch does. All right, Miss Mandy, who is going to spit on the very Constitution she lives under with the rights that she demands.
Boom. Is she actually gonna really spit on the real Constitution?
Metaphorically spit.
That could be cool.
You metaphorically spat on this document.
That'd
That gives you the right to vote, by the way.
be not boring. You cunt.
Tell me
Man.
Tell me which and tell me why. Okay? Tell me which and why.
The same exact finger size.
Check the time, I'm sorry. I can't read a clock.
Is it George?
You wondered all why Socrates feared for the democracy that we live in. Seriously, Dalton.
Riley got in a fight. What? Riley got physical? Yeah. Did he get in trouble?
Yeah, he's in the office right now.
Did he win?
Smartest on our team might be.
I hope he wins it. I mean, he's a pretty big guy. He's a pretty probably is.
I mean, who's his rival? Some weenie?
All right, you ready? All right, here's Mandy's question. According to John Locke, okay, which one of these branches of government, executive, judicial, legislative, is in fact the most important in a society? Which branch, according to Locke, is the supreme or best or most sacred of all the branches?
He probably agrees with you.
No?
Legislative.
Why the legislative?
I just read it in number 8. It kind of gives it away.
Huh? All right, the legislative makes the law, which I just said. The executive enforces the law, and the judicial interprets the law. Why is the legislative branch the most important of those branches?
Oh, it's to like make the laws, right? Without the
Yeah, but
legislative,
why
there
is
couldn't be
it-
the other two.
But why is it the most important?
They wouldn't have laws.
Because there wouldn't be the other two branches if legislative didn't exist, right?
Okay, but why is the legislative branch, according to Locke, the most important? It's the one that's most deeply connected to what? The people themselves. Because in a legislative democracy, we vote for people that represent us, right?
What does that mean? Like, what do you mean legislative is inherent to the people? Like, what do you mean?
Okay. So, when we vote for people to go into office. We are voting for people to represent our interests. So whether you're in Congress or in the Senate, we are voting for people to represent us at the federal level. And we also do the same thing at the state level. And we also do the same thing at the local level. And we also have Bledsoes on the school board. We vote these people into office, right? Now their job, all right, so let's look at the school board. The school board's job as an elected office is to make sure that the city of Alcoa and the education of the students of Alcoa, their primary job is to protect that interest, right? So on a local level, that's the closest thing to you. The closest thing protecting you as a student is the school board.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that?
Yeah.
All right, and just expand that up. So from Tennessee, my representative who goes to Washington represents my district in Tennessee, represents what interests those people have in that district. So in essence, the idea that Locke proposes is that the person going to that representative body takes a part of you with him. Because you can't do it yourself, we have too many people to have a direct democracy, so we have to elect people to go for us. That's the intimate connection between the people themselves. The president is representing an entire country.
Yeah.
The Senate is representing an entire state. The representative is representing a specific district in the state. You see how it's collapsing down?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what he means.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. I got it.
Did I do a good job?
Yes.
Educator? Well, I know, buddy. All right, Mandy, we're gonna play number 9 here. Are you ready for number 9? What, according to Locke, are 4 restrictions on what legislators may legitimately do? If we elect you to office, okay, there are certain things you can do and certain things you can't do. What are some of the things you cannot do?
Are y'all?
Why do you always go to kill people?
Because that's the most taboo thing in human society.
That's not true.
That is not
Incest
true.
is way worse.
For the
What?
sake of
Incest is
time,
way worse.
Pedophilia.
That's true. Bestiality.
Cannibalism.
I mean, there's cannibalism.
go ahead.
That's true. Yeah.
But it's more taboo to eat them after.
Dude, I know, her power's stronger than mine, I know. Because your head is constantly to the left. I've never seen someone's
That's
head
weirder though.
more constantly to the left. I talk more to your damn ear than I talk to your face. Every time I look, you are head left. That might be better than head down, like Dalton. What?
What about you? I never wanted to sleep. I was listening.
You were definitely asleep.
No, because I heard Dalton say my name and I said, what?
What did we talk about?
What have we been talking about? He was asleep.
Easy.
John would be a part of your surroundings in that logic, Isaac. I guess that's fair.
Like, I heard my name and it wasn't, it activated my brain.
Uh-huh. Activated your brain from asleep, huh? Yeah.
I was in a comatose.
Sleep, bro.
You know what though? Dalton is not dumb. He is not.
Let's not get carried away.
Oh god.
I spend every day with him. He's an idiot. He's an idiot.
He's fine.
He definitely is.
He's like, time out. First of all, what are you doing in here? I know, but where are you supposed to be? Where'd Lucas go? Seth comes in here. I don't even know where you guys are supposed to be. I'm just teaching to you. I mean, Zane. I was thinking of your brother. Sorry, Zane. I was thinking of your brother.
Ooh, smell that one.
Yep, it's coffee.
You know,
Here, you make it
Bryce
work.
and I have known you now for 4 years. As a young freshman that American Eagle threw up on, all the way till now. And I have noticed a certain phenomenon that happens with seniors in high school. They start using naughty words.
I've been using naughty words.
Not in front of your mother.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. He says naughty words.
Sorry. Thought there was some virtue left in this world.
No, Bryce is a piece of crap. Don't let him play.
Do what? Do I cuss in front of my parents? I do now.
I'm tired of this class.
To be honest, you're asking somebody that thinks philosophically.
It's real coffee right there.
That's some real coffee.
Philosophically, there is no language that should be offensive. It's just a social.
Say something.
What am I saying?
Anything.
But that even the
Fuck.
word is socially constructed,
You heard it.
right?
That's going down.
Now,
That's
granted,
That's
it's a
for
word I
everyone.
would never use because in society we deem it
Until the
vulgar.
solar flare
For what it
hits. Until the
represents.
electronics fry.
But the word itself is socially constructed. All words are socially constructed. We created language, and we give meaning to the word. But on a philosophical level, the word is nothing more than a sound wave, meaning your ear, and then interpreted as a certain thing. But there's no value in the
Think
word.
of all the people with pacemakers.
So if I say poo-poo head, right, that's not a cuss word in our culture.
Prosthetic arm.
But if you live somewhere else, we can make any word vulgar depending on how we
Dalton
use it.
would die.
Right?
Dalton would die. What if they only flew for like 5 minutes?
That just reminded me about naughty words.
And like stay there for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I remember that day.
What if you flew straight 6 feet under and never came back up?
That's a good question.
Yeah, they just threw that out like nothing on it.
3 swigs. 3 gulps in there.
How clear do you think our voices are in this? Like, how much does this pick up?
No clue. Never used the app. I just downloaded the most, I looked up voice recorder on the Google Play Store, and I saw one that had like 5 million downloads, so I clicked it.
Can we like skip around once class is over? I kind of want to
For
hear
all
what it
intents
picked
and
up.
purposes, we'll pick up 9, 10, 11 on Wednesday with Mandy as we rehash live. Now I do promise, hold on. Isaac, listen up. I know you're talking to the girl, but listen up. The next unit, Unit 3, is what most of you think of as philosophy. That's where we get into reality. So the next unit, it does pick up because we have reality, we have God, and then we have like modern societal construction.
Well, are we done?
We're going to do 9, 10, 11 on Wednesday.
Are we going to have a quiz over there?
Do we not go to school Tuesday?
Correct.
Do we go to school on Tuesday? Why?
PT.
No school tomorrow. How
So
do
we
you feel
just-
about that?
So we just have a
Bradley's asking the real question.
5-day week?
Damn, did you drop his ass?
What happened?
I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know who the fuck Cop Out is. I've never figured that out.
Who?
Cop Out.
Am I? Sam. It's Sam? Sam has middle school?
Yeah.
We need to come up with a door director for 89.
I'm gonna have to Riley point this kid out to me because I'm about to beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah, that's Sam's cat.
See you guys tomorrow. See you on Wednesday.
Voice track. Rhea, take your water bottle.
Why got so many lights?
Every game day.
Have a good day.
Man, I'll go straight to you.
Here, can you hold this for a second so I can hold my phone out in the holster and have the whole recording?
This was just a philosophy recording, right?
And lunch.
Why have you turned it into like the rest of your day?
I don't know. We'll end it.
You're just gonna wear a watch.
Yo, what's up, Louis? What's up, Dwayne? Dwayne, you want to say anything for the historical records?
No, I'm sure. Twain, what about you? It's
Twain, you want to say anything for the records?
Like say what?
Like historical records?
Why?
Really? That'll be forever immortalized.
Okay.
He's uploading that to Twitter.
Honestly, once I graduate high school, that will probably be the only evidence that I have that you existed. This kid just dropped a donut. Oh my god.
You don't have the selfie.
Oh yeah. I'll always have a selfie.
I'll always have a selfie.
Eric! Eric! Say something.
Say something into the mic.
Say something for their mic.
I got Civ.
You did?
No.
Billy! Hi Billy, love you. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. Since when do you have our lunch? When did you start coming to our lunch? What? Uh-oh.
It messed up all my... No, you cannot just leave. Our brain trust here has to figure out what we're doing for a door.
We know what we're doing for our door.
You haven't seen what we're doing.
Do you want to say anything for the kid? I'm about to end it.
Also,
Okay.
guys, you need to, they do want you to sign up for whatever activities you want to do.
And that is the end of year 1, day 1.